I don't even know, man. I'm just hyped right now, bro. I'm excited.
We love that.
Welcome back to the Prophetic Podcast. No, I'm playing. Welcome back to the Prophetic Podcast. We in here. I'm your host, Drew. Bree is here.
What's going on?
Trev is super happy.
We in here.
You missed it.
What's up, y'all?
You missed it from our pre-recording where it was us talking about how he's so happy with no drugs. None. Clean as a whistle.
Hey.
This is all natural.
Energy of a child. We love it.
It's interesting. I don't know how you do it.
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you.
High of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
That's what it is.
Right. How are y'all doing? How are you, Trevor? I ain't seen you in a while.
I haven't seen you either.
Yeah, as they know, y'all don't know, AC compressor went out, so we out here, hot boy summer.
That's not what hot boy summer even stands for. You got hot body right now. Boy, you about to be
talking about living clean. You know what I'm saying?
Your sauna everywhere.
You look at hot box.
Musty. Whoa. Musty summer.
No, sir.
Not the musty summer.
Pungent summer.
Whoa, that's not what we doing.
Tart summer.
Ooh, not the tart.
Now you keep going. Nah.
I could do musty, but tart, that's a little fun.
But nah, that's what's going on. Other than that, we chilling.
It's gonna be
about to go back
man.
to work in a few weeks. So.
Yeah, I know. How's that feel? Is it fuck them kids, or are you ready to see them?
Nah, I'm ready.
If a teacher was ever like, fuck them kids, it's time for a new profession.
Nah. By the end of the year, you tired of them.
Yeah.
By the end of the year. But nah, I'm ready.
Good.
Ready? That's what's up.
Good for you.
Bree,
Yo.
how are you?
I'm good.
We had a good time with Leah, our last episode. That was fun.
Yeah,
I've
been busy. I've been so busy.
Yes,
So tired.
I know.
Yes, which is kind of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. We'll get there. We will get there. So, where do you want to start besides what the obvious? We can leave that for the end. Where do you want to start? Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I feel like it's going to color the conversation.
At least she didn't say colored people like he did last week.
Wow.
Becky, remember that? He dropped that shit about 3 times.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get to talking, moving fast.
Affirmative action is somehow he thought colored people was the word.
Yeah,
I was like, nigga, it's people of color.
I be moving fast. trying to get
every
the words
time
up.
someone says colored people, I see the water fountain. The picture of the water fountain that says
I see
colored
German
only.
shepherds and shit.
I'm sorry. That's not.
Black and white photos.
Y'all know what I was trying to get at.
Colored people.
There's a demographic out there that's like, I'm riding with him. I'm with it.
Bring back colors 2024.
We got one. Hey, I knew there was one on that cast. Somebody's gonna come to the other
They
side.
drink craft beer. Somebody's saying colors.
I knew it. They probably like Bud Light too. NASCAR.
Oh man.
Trevor got a sleeveless jean jacket at the house right now.
Yikes.
Okay, so let's color the conversation, not the people. Go ahead. I'll let you give your.
So, this is actually going to be my last episode with the Prophetic Pod.
Ever on Earth.
Yeah.
So, I guess I never really asked you, are you leaving podcasting altogether or just us?
I think so. I think, actually, in the last episode, I believe you'll hear that episode before this one, but in an episode that we did with Talia, she said, oh, so what's your passion outside of the thing that you do and then the thing that you're working on? Like, what is the thing that you're excited about? And I realized in this year that I've surrounded myself with people who have that passion. My boyfriend is super passionate. Becky and you and Brittany and all these different people, all these different creatives.
Over here.
Trev, sorry. All these different people who have this fire. Like, they will go to sleep doing it. They will wake up thinking it. And I realized that I have been supporting all these people, watching all these people, admiring all these people, but just as like a sideline. Not really taking any time for myself to say, okay, but like, what's the thing that you like specifically want to do?
Right.
I got into podcasting because Brittany did podcasting and I like to talk and we had great conversations, but I never really like said, is that my passion? Like, is that the thing that will keep me up late at night?
Right.
The thing that I want to focus on? And I just really believe that like, in our world, we're pushed to do so much. There's so many different opportunities that we have. And it's like, you feel like you should go through every door because you have the ability to do it. But I believe that God is really calling me to like step back and say, okay, what is the door that I have for you? Because you're going through everybody else's doors. And because of that, you've now busied yourself to the point where like, I'm exhausted at the end of the week. I was telling Becky, I don't have a free weekend till September because I've committed myself to all these different things. And it's just when the word that I feel like God was telling me is like, if I wanted to give you your passion and your purpose, you would have to put it on your calendar. You wouldn't be able to get to it till November. And so I really just had to really, that hit me home. And I was like, oh shoot. Cause I know, I just believe that we are not created to just exist on this planet, that we all have our unique abilities. There's a reason why I was created. And if I'm not living my life for the reason that God has called me to live, then I'm not doing it right. So it sucks because then you have to like disappoint people that you care about. It sucks because you have to like, you know, stop doing things that you enjoy. I enjoy doing podcasting. I enjoy all the stuff that I have for the rest of the summer, but I think it is time in my life that I step back and say, okay, what is it I'm supposed to be doing? And then I can, and then I can fill the rest of my time with the things that I enjoy when I get there. But so that's why.
It's funny you said that part because when she did ask that question, I narrowed it to the hike, fatherhood podcast, and there was a time where I couldn't narrow it. But I will tell you, you're right, because I've reached a point where I have it pretty streamlined as to what I want to do. This podcast is creating the network for the things that I want to do, which those will be kind of a subsidiary of what I'm doing now. But yeah, you're right. You have to get to the point where you have made a solid choice on what you want to do, and you're standing in that. Like I stand in this podcast shit. Like shout out to all the creatives, like in every facet. But for me, this is what I love.
You love it,
and I absolutely, I do. I mean, I wake up, I get here before everybody. I'm putting cans up. I'm helping with the cameras and the lights, and I'm changing shirts because I sweat too damn much. And I'm running. It is hot, but I'm running all the time for this thing, and I love this thing. Like how she talked about she didn't get paid till year 11. Yeah, I was so happy to get that little $20 check from iHeart. Thank y'all. Send me some more. Like that. It didn't mean
20s,
but that means somebody listened.
Yeah.
If you know how many listens you have to get $20, I feel all right. Listen, I mean, you're getting like pennies on the dollar, right? Yeah. Which is bullshit, by the way. But anyways, we'll get back to that another time. But it's just like you do it all, and it's not for the money at all. Like I just love it. Like I love talking to y'all. I love spending the time. I love bugging Becky about these new crazy ideas I have, which this new one is pretty fire. I can't wait for y'all to see it. But it's like, I love it, man. I love every single, I love the stress of it. And it's not, to me, it's not stress. I just love it.
And I love being around people like that. I realize I love being around passionate people.
But I want that for you.
And I want that for myself. And and if you look at the statistics, like our generation, the number one reason why people have suicide ideation, depression, anxiety is because they don't have identity. They don't know why they're doing the things that they're doing. They get to this point in their life and they're like, oh, is this it? Like the sun just comes up and then it goes down and then I do it again. And then you see all the binge drinking. I mean, they said that drinking is now the highest it's ever been since World War II. I mean, people are just not doing okay.
Also, too, it's that, because I get caught in this sometimes too, it's that you know something or you trying to find that, but it's that getting quiet enough or taking the time for yourself. If people just keep going and going, and it's like you get kind of maxed out, you get burned out.
You never sit still.
And the thing is, you never find the time to grasp what you're really after. And you get to a point where you just frustrated with life. So.
And that's why. And so my mom used to tell me all the time, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I think that we're all very talented and skilled and anyone can do anything, like Talia was saying, but should you be doing it? And I think not enough of us in this world of social media and like authenticity and creating, not enough of us have spent the time to say, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? And that's, I think, why we see suicide rates so high and all these things that we're seeing. It's because we're lost and it feels empty. So I didn't want to end up as a statistic.
And make no mistake about it, this is probably the best the second best exit we've had. The first one was with it was good. Some of the other ones weren't so great, but it is what it is. But I'm happy that this is happening this way because it gives context. I don't want people thinking that I'm hard to work with or some shit. People are weird like that. Well, he's had like 4 different co-hosts.
Like, damn, this motherfucker. who next?
Yeah, chopping block. But no, it's nothing like that at all. Like, I give people an opportunity to come in and be themselves. I don't ask for too much. I try to make it as easy as possible.
You
like
did.
It's like the atmosphere, the environment's cool. Like, everything is always. I try to make it as wholesome and as fun for everybody that's involved. So it's nothing like that. But when you told me that, I was happy. I didn't get mad at you at all. I just at first I was thinking it was me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, damn it, am I too demanding? Like, what the? I'm like, I don't think I asked for a lot. Like, am I weird? Like, do I text at weird times? Like, I'm always gonna assess myself
I
first.
was like, I mean, bro.
Did nobody ask you to co-sign this shit? What the hell? Don't air your grievances if you got some.
And that's one of the things that made it so hard too, right? Because it's like you don't ask me to do anything but show up, right? So, so I was thinking like,
and you
okay,
always do.
I was thinking, okay, God, I will keep showing up to the podcast and then keep doing this thing, and then I'll like have my time and I'll be intentional.
And it never works
out
that way.
It never works out that way.
Because this is always turning.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I'm the type of person, I'm always on the go. I don't stop moving.
We know.
I literally don't stop moving. And so I knew that I just had to completely step away so that I could have time to be bored.
And to be quite honest, that seat will probably rotate for a long time. And it'll be, people will come in and hang out. We're not going to solidify a third co-host. We're going to stay just the two of us.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it open. If you ever want to come back, you're more than welcome. We have no problems. We're fine. So you can always
and
come
I
back.
told you, I'm like,
if
I'd love to jump in, but I know that I need to take this time now.
Yes.
So I'm going to take the time. And I would encourage anyone listening, like if you're feeling busy for busy's sake, that's not healthy. And I think we live in a world that honors that champions busyness, especially in America. It's like everyone's like, you got to get a hustle till you get your G-Wagon. And like,
I hate that.
It's not realistic.
But that becomes easier when you know what you're hustling for.
Exactly. Hustling with a purpose.
Hustling with a purpose.
Be busy with a purpose.
Like he said with the show, it's easy to do what he does. He has a passion for it. He's after it. You got to find what you're passionate about. What you're willing to go hard for, because then the stress and stuff that comes with it, it's not stress. Or it's just like, man, I'm gonna figure it. It's a puzzle that you're trying to figure out.
And I was saying, like the last time when we were talking to them last time about, like, I know you said it was easy and I was joking, but it kind of is easy to pick up something to record. But if you're not doing it for passion, with intention and purpose, with a long-term goal, with some research behind it, with a strategy behind it, then you're kind of just doing a thing because everybody else is doing it.
You're on a treadmill, right? You're on the treadmill of life. And it's like, that may benefit something, but after a while, like, you've gone nowhere.
And you're going to burn out.
And you're going to burn out. You're going to have to get off of it.
I'll give you a really good example of people burning out. T.I. is rich as hell, right? Wealthy. He did a podcast. And I actually didn't mind it. It wasn't that bad. But
T.I. did one?
He quit. He quit. It wasn't because of all the headlines that were going on at that time, but he quit because he said it wasn't making any money. But that told me one thing.
He was in the wrong
There's no
reason.
passion behind it. You were using your status to bring in another stream of revenue, but because the quality might not have been there, or maybe you're lacking in, you're not well versed in it. Maybe you didn't do the research before you jumped into it. I could have a ton of money and buy all the nice shit and get a nice studio and just start doing the thing. But if there's no passion, no strategy, no nothing, but if there's nothing of substance behind it, doesn't matter who I am or what status I'm at, I'm going to burn out too, because you're still human. All those things don't make you who you are. You're still who you are.
Exactly.
You got to have the passion for what you're trying to do, and you have to take that thing seriously. And it doesn't matter about the money. If it ain't making no money, cool. If I don't make money for the next 10 years, I'm still working 9 to 5. I'm still taking care of my bills on the back end. I'm still fine. But at some point, when rubber meets the road, it'll come. But it's going to be because I had passion and I stuck it out.
The Leah just said last episode, like
11 years?
She just started.
11 years.
She just started, and then boom, it hit.
And then it hit in small increments. Like I told you, a $20 check. I was like, oh, cool, I get $20 a quarter now. You know what I got the first quarter I did this? Nothing. Maybe I got, because they don't pay you until you get $10, so nothing. Like, I wasn't even making $10. I was making no threshold.
Not they hold on to your 10.
Yeah, they hold you at 10.
petty.
Like, what the hell is it? Why 10? Why is 10 a threshold? But they didn't make anything. And then one day I got a little check. I was like, where the hell did I get $12 from? and it was in my PayPal. I was like, oh, they sent me a check. Oh, cool. I got a residual. I don't know who. Cool. And then those little checks start getting bigger. And I was like, well, I'm not able to do much with it. It just goes right back to the company. I'm not spending it on anything. But it was nice to know that over time, like she said, it will happen. But that wasn't what I was looking for. It was just a nice surprise. Like, I don't care about the money, honestly, bro. This is not free, and I don't care.
And when I talk to people who are super passionate, they do the same thing. Like my boyfriend right now is working on a project. I don't think he slept this week. I truly don't. And I'm like, all right, like he doesn't eat. I mean, he might eat a meal, and then he drinks water occasionally, and he is just in there. And I'm like, wow, I really want that thing that like. And you're the same way about the what you do. I mean, it's people have that drive, and you don't care about anything other than.
I will be hanging out with Kennedy, and we'll be eating. She'll be eating food. I'll put her in her high chair, and I'll put Moana on the TV or whatever. Put on the surround sound.
But you working.
But I'm standing up at my countertop. It's like a wraparound bar, so I'm standing up, typing and doing stuff, and I'm talking to her, and I'm playing, and I'm cooking. I'm checking the cooking or checking the food, checking the laundry. Dog needs to go out, and I'm still working, and I'm still trying to get things to her and get things to John and make sure the template looks good. And I'm always working. Yeah, I am constantly working on the show. So, but I love it though. Yeah. I woke up at like 5 this morning to work on the show. Y'all were probably still asleep. I was up at 5 in the morning, like
very much asleep.
Okay, that looks good.
I was deep in REM.
I'm going over
it. Look here.
Yeah. Oh, word. Where are you?
Oh yeah, man. Drool and everything, man.
Tell me again. But no, I was up this morning and I was going over because I didn't want to pull my phone out and be rude during the interview for the other episode. I was just like, let me make sure I remember everything that I wanted to say. And I see you got your stuff like your monologue stuff, bro,
man.
You have to.
They flows now. Like you don't even pull the phone out at all.
With this thing that you, especially when you have a passion, it's like tinkering with an old car. Exactly. It may not be everything one day. It might just be the carburetor today, or it might just be the muffler today, or it could just be the alignment, or you're tuning it, but you're always tinkering with it. So at 5 a.m. I was just like, okay, that sounds good. Okay, let me make sure that sounds good. I'm in the bathroom, walk around reciting things. Yeah. I'm having full blown conversations with you two on the toilet. And my girlfriend's like, "What are you? No. Oh,
who you talking to? Yeah, right.
Never mind. I'll be in the shower. She's like, well, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going over the show. I'll be out in a minute." Like, I'm always working, and that's what passion is. It does, and that's for you. I really want you to have whatever that thing is. Yeah. I want that for you.
Yeah, I want that for me too.
I want you on the toilet talking about your passion to nobody.
just literally talking into the mirror. Right. And one of the things I want to add too is I really appreciate how you handled it, because I think sometimes when you have surrounded yourself by people who've benefited off of the fact that you haven't chose yourself, they can get a little
selfish.
Yeah, or they can get a little bit disappointed. Rightfully so, right? They can get a little bit disappointed because they've benefited off of you pouring into their passions. And also, when someone pours into your passions, it makes it more legitimate. It feels like it's something. And so I really appreciate that you kind of were like, okay, yeah, all good.
Yeah, because some people,
right? But like,
how I arrived there is a different story, though.
Okay, talk about it.
Because at first I thought it was me, and then I was like, well. It made me. I was like, okay, so what really happened with the last time? Like, I maybe asked because you're wondering. I'm like, it was a quick exit. I was like, was it me? Was it podcasting? I was telling him, I was like, I don't know what I did. What could have gone wrong? He was like, I was like, just never at no point that I ever really just blame you. I was just wondering. I was like, well, damn. I wonder if it's me. I'm like, damn, I lost T. I lost this. I'm like, it's like, God, I lost all these people. And I'm like, well, no. And then I called you and we had the conversation. I called him right back. I was like, well, I feel better. He was like, why? I said, because I didn't do anything wrong. Not that that's so fucking selfish. But I was like, it made me feel good to know that that's growth, because there were some times where it probably was me. Yeah. But this time I really was intentional about how I handled you and how I handled this whole journey with a new host, especially not us not knowing each other. That's tough too. Yeah. And so this time I wanted to make sure that I was very careful and meticulous in how I handled my new co-host. I don't want to lose co-hosts. That's never the intention, is to lose people. Like, how hard is it to find good co-hosts? I don't want to talk to half of y'all.
Awesome.
I don't want to be talking to a lot of people. So I really had held my feet to the fire, thinking it's something I had done. But to find out that you were comfortable in this space and that you enjoyed it, that made me feel good.
And I'm disappointed to leave. I think also when you have something that you should do, you don't always leave gleefully. I felt like a weight off my shoulder, because I was like, I've been trying to figure out how to tell you, and I was like, I need to just.
I'm easy to talk to, though.
And so I felt like Maybe not.
I see your damn face. I am easy to talk to. Don't do that.
You gotten better. I'll say that.
What a damn minute.
Well, I
Shots fired, Jesus.
Well, I definitely shot my first draft via text because I was like, I don't even know how to start this conversation over the phone. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I'm not that bad.
But,
Nah, you good, bro.
yeah,
You
but
good.
I did. I felt better because I had the conversation. But it is disappointing because I was like, I like doing this. This is really cool. This is, I mean, and I do like sharing what I have to say. But I just, it
ain't for you.
I gotta be obedient, and I think because I'm obedient, it'll make your podcast work better because I would be sitting here all day long, really kind of resenting it, really kind of tired.
Eventually that would come out of
and it would eventually
show
come
up.
out of
It would.
then that would make your situation. So I'm like, I need to be obedient for myself and for the people that I'm around. So I gotta go.
But that's a lesson for people out there, though. When you're in a scenario like that, it is on how you handle it and receive it.
Yes.
It's not really necessarily them telling you, because if they're telling you something that's affecting them, then just listen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to shut up and listen and receive the word, receive what they're telling you. So when you told me, I wasn't really mad. I was happy that you told me, because honestly, I think a month or so before, I was like, I don't know how long she's gonna last, and it wasn't because I knew anything was going on.
Yeah,
I can read people really well. I don't know where that. Maybe that's the parental side. I'm not sure, but I felt like I didn't know if it was for you, but I didn't know why. Right. So it answered a lot of questions when you called. So I was like, well, I felt like she might not stick around, but I just didn't know if it was because you didn't like podcasts, and if you didn't like our vibe. I didn't know what it was, but I just knew that you know when you know.
Yeah.
Right. So I wasn't mad at you at all. I was more relieved just to find out, okay, she's gonna go chase her own dream. And that's what you should do, especially if you are in charge of something, so to speak. When you lose a player, that's not bad. I've worked for people that would not let go of good players, and that it kind of ruined that other person's dream too, because they were so toxic. You know what I mean? Like,
it'll affect sometimes the environment in the.
It did.
It does. It makes the culture toxic.
It did. It affected.
It might not affect their work. Like they might still. Sometimes it can affect the work too.
I've seen that where like they've coveted their good people and they didn't want to let them grow. Yeah. And those people will sacrifice that dream that they had initially had when they first came there. And they'll just kind of just fall back and just take the back seat, and it ends up becoming very, very toxic. So when you told me, I was never gonna hold you back. That's not my style at all.
Nah.
So, yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah. Well, so what's next? Do you have any idea at all?
Literally, I'm going to rest. And actually, I need you all to hold me accountable because I said I'm not taking any new. Well, I have one thing, but nothing new in September. I'm going to try to go the whole month without going outside. I know I'm saying it out loud.
I gave security your photos, so they're not going to let you in the building.
I've been telling all my friends, if you see me on Instagram,
ma'am, come here.
if you see me on Instagram, send me the eyes emoji because it's going to be hard. This is not easy for me, and I've really been discovering what rest means.
If I see you on Instagram, it'll be way before I see him on Instagram.
That's true, because he doesn't even have an Instagram.
Okay. You went there.
I did. We're here.
Yeah.
We're here. While we're here, let's ask a question. So I did want to ask you this question. Since you're still here, let's just have a little fun. Why do you think people are so resistant to change? You or either one, even Becky, you can jump into. Why do you guys think people are so resistant to the changes that are coming by way of technology, knowing that this is the way it's going?
The technology.
Some people are really stuck in what they know, and they're not adhering to ChatGPT, AI. All these things are coming.
I think it makes it hurts our ego as humans. I think it because I think as humans, like, we think that we are like physically
end all be all,
the end, right? We're over the animals, so we are the people, and now we have this force technology that's coming in and showing, okay, well, yeah, but there's something that could be better. And I think sometimes when people feel intimidated, they automatically call it the devil, or they say like, this is the Antichrist, or, all of those things, instead of what you should do, which is learn how to work with it. Because like you said, like, the current is coming. If you fight the current, you're going to drown. So you need to learn how to work with it.
No, I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah, Trevor, go ahead.
I would say it's, because I'm old school with it. I see the need for it. I see where it can be helpful. I get all that. It's being too reliant on it because then you lose a element sometimes of reality. Or if that stuff crashes or it's not working, can you function? If you too reliant, because that's really where we're at. Because I see it with students too reliant on it. That's everything. Their socials are everything. AI and shit is everything. That's the issue. Can you, if it's a blackout, can you still function? Do you know? Can you write a letter? Little things like that. But
it's the onus is on us as individuals to make sure that we are well equipped either way it goes. So that's up to the individual. But we can't deny that it's coming, that it's here. I mean, we're using it. How do you think this thing gets in 40 countries? I ain't been in 40 countries this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I imagine they felt the same way during like the agricultural boom where like everyone was making their own food. And then it was like, we're going to rely on one farm to make all of our food. What if this farm? And at the end of the day, it's like, yes, but that's just how it works. And now, maybe a lot of us can't plant our own food, grow our own food.
There's a movement right now that people are excited they learn how to sew again. I was like, y'all know how to sew?
Yeah.
They're like, well, we don't want to waste our clothes, so we're learning how to sew. I was like, people don't know how to sew? I could sew these pants back together if I needed to. My grandma used to make me sew shit all the time.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Where we're headed, no, people don't know that. These kids don't know that.
But humans are resilient.
And also, we're not a lot of because like you said, we're the parents now.
Yeah.
What are we teaching the kid? Like, and also too, I know with my brothers firsthand, they're the kids that grew up. Here's an iPad. Here, go watch something, go play something.
The question I would ask with that scenario is like, what's on it,
Yeah.
Like, for instance, our daughter uses the iPad, but it's Miss Rachel. It's something educational. She can count to 30. She's damn near 2, right? But she can count beyond where she's supposed to be because the things that we do put in front of her are educational. It's very intentional, though.
Yeah.
I get that, but at the same time, then they become reliant on that piece of technology. And then if you don't have it, can you still
function without it?
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think we're moving into a world where it is important to be able to use this technology.
Yes.
Like if we're back in like the olden days where they were fighting with their fists and then someone brings a sword around and like, well, I'm not going to use a sword because I'm fighting with my fist. Well, then now you've crippled yourself to the way in which the world is going to be. Same thing with texting. Like if somebody was like, I'm not going to text, like now you can't even live in this world. So I think you are disabling yourself by refusing some of these things that are just going to be a part of life. Unfortunately or fortunate, whatever it is, that's how it is.
And as we grow, they're going to refine it to a point where you talk about blackouts, that's going to happen. I mean, that's just
just because I'm seeing
they're going to refine it to a point where it's going to be integrated in. I mean, it is integrated into everything we do. If we really think about it, I have 10 Apple devices at the house. I have 2 Alexas at the house. I got Bluetooth speakers, wireless this, wireless that. I mean, it's
and
there.
I can tell that my brain is not as good as it used to be because of all these things.
I still see, but I still do
that part right there.
I can tell.
That part right there.
Yeah.
That part is where, and also then with a lot of the other socials, it's the negative stuff. Mm-hmm. Because with what I do for a living, I've seen people speaking their mind or being themselves. You say one wrong thing, boom, it's costing people their jobs. Mm-hmm. Just because people are misconstruing something or just because the agendas and all this kind of stuff. So when did that didn't happen years ago? Mm-hmm. So it's like, hell, me still not being on these platforms and things like that. Hell, I'm still protecting myself.
Are you though? Are you?
I don't know.
Because I don't know if you are. Because if you're in the dark, then are you really protecting yourself? At least being aware of it. And
if you're hiding, are you protecting yourself?
Yeah, at least being aware of it and knowing.
But is it not? If I'm aware of it, but also I'm aware of the dangers, so that's why.
But then don't lean so far into the dangers. You got to kind of lean into the positives of it because I don't use it for the negatives. Do you think I use all this shit as negative? Like,
you probably do a little bit.
I mean, no, I don't. But no,
but also, this is what I mean. I'm not so much the negatives. It's where a person being candid, being honest, just talking.
It's the culture, yeah.
If you don't even realize you made a misstep, people harp on that one thing, boom. It's that part for me. Because I know for me personally, Hell, a lot of things I'm not aware.
Right.
You don't want to get canceled off of
Exactly.
ignorance.
Like perfect example. Perfect example. Our last conversation with the stuff, me saying color B, I wasn't trying. That wasn't my intention.
It again. God damn it.
No, I was using it for the information.
I know.
But see, I'm literal like that.
Yeah, I got you.
I honestly didn't mean that. I was just, I'm trying to get the point across before I forget it. Things like that.
Yeah.
So those little slip ups.
But I feel like in this culture, everyone has something to say about everything. Like he got some hate on was it TikTok or YouTube or something?
By the guy that thought he said we cursed too much.
Yeah, so it's like LOL. People are always gonna have something to say, so you can't even worry about that. I think the cool thing about technology, but also understand, I'm with you. I think technology it's a bit much. And I do hear what you're saying, but I also think that I want to use it as a tool and not be so afraid of it. But there are so many communities in the world that you will find someone that thinks like you. Like, it's not like you say something and you're the only one that's ever had that thought. Like, it's not. It just happened.
But it kind of goes back to what the LeBlanc said. Like, you only really see, in a 24-hour time span, you're only seeing 10 minutes of my life max. Mm-hmm. When we put the show out, you probably see more clips of the show than you do of my life. Like, you only get a bit. We went to the zoo. Okay, yeah, but that was 3 weeks ago. I'm not gonna post it in real time. You're getting very small bits and pieces. I use it to my advantage, but I have my boundaries with it as well. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I would tell you, if you are going to lean into using technology, set your boundaries with it too.
Like I said,
a good point. That's a really good point.
You guys are right. It's just one thing I am really afraid of is the ChatGPT thing. Not afraid. I'm not going to say that, but it is the way that I use ChatGPT. I'm like, how did I go to school for ChatGPT to do something? That's
in
what
30 seconds.
And that is a part of the writer's strike.
Oh my God.
That's a problem.
And then
now,
also another thing too with it, what's real?
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
What's real?
Reality.
Because then.
Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. This one. That's the one.
So that's my drop. What the hell about this bitch? What the hell, man?
But seriously, on top of everything else, then it's the information that's out there with all this technology, what's real? I know,
boundaries.
Do you the person that you listening to, you following, are they real?
No.
Or do they live the way they saying, what they're portraying?
No. Well, but to be honest, that's most people.
But then also
but also too, it's different. If we real life, we here, we out. I can see you. Like you said, I can read body language. I get a feel, I vibe. We there.
Yeah, but you only see what I'm showing you. But if you would have seen me on Wednesday, you would have been like, "Is she okay?" we do that.
If you saw me last week laying on the couch, sharking myself, you would be like, "Oh Jesus Christ, this man is not the podcaster I thought he was." I was curled up in a ball, sick as hell. But
I think we always have done that. We always show our avatars. It's just it wasn't ever in the way that it is now.
Every time you step out the house, you're a representative of yourself.
It's a show.
This is before social media. You've always,
but see, that's dad.
Yeah, no one ever sees the true you unless they live with you, and even
you
then,
never know the reality.
Yeah,
ever.
I think that's not really attributed just to social media. I think that's just life.
I think it makes it a little more pervasive. I think that and the ability to get lost in a non-reality, I think, is a little bit easier now. But as long as, and I think that's the beautiful thing about technology is that you still have the opportunity to learn about who someone really is. Technology has not exposed itself in a way to where it is now consuming your entire life. I don't think it should do that, and I would never agree to do something like that. But I would never live in a virtual reality, right? But there are still some things that are unique to me that no one knows, that you too, that I can get to know. It'll never be all consuming, hopefully.
And going back to earlier, you're talking about finding your passion. With technology, that makes it also streamlines things a lot faster. You can get things done. You can find things faster. So maybe you do want to explore your passions, but maybe you're not really sure where to look. Maybe here I like this one thing. Well, there's this thing called hashtags. I can put that hashtag and kind of get an idea what other people might be doing in that sector. You know what I mean? I've learned a lot from using technology. I learned how to build this out. There was no book in the library telling me how to build out a podcast. I had to watch things online. I had to look up things on apps. I had to look up things on YouTube. I had to find these types of cameras, find out what mics I needed, how to segment. These are things I learned by using technology. And it wasn't like I was just on Instagram. I'm reading things online that I cannot find, physically anymore. Because that's also where we're going. We don't even have physical copies of stuff.
True.
The UNT library, there's no books.
What?
It's just computers.
Oh no!
There's no. It's not even a library anymore. Like
that
there's no books.
Me out.
Yeah, so we're headed to a point where like your information is going to be accessed that way too.
And I use that stuff like the informational stuff, but it's also like when we get into people and relationships, that's also like that's where
like how do you connect with people truly?
Exactly.
I see what you're saying.
You want me to tell you how? I have a daughter by her. I met her on OkCupid. If I didn't have technology, I wouldn't know her at all. She's from Chicago. How the hell would I have met her? If I didn't have technology, I don't meet them.
That's true. So it can be the great connector and the great divider.
But also, too, then you had to actually go out
and do stuff.
But that's no different than me meeting you at Walmart over tomatoes and saying, do you want to get lunch?
Or like they said, falling in the arms of your future husband. It's
still the same. You still got to take the risk. Like, dating is dating. I mean, it's not. This isn't like a blanket statement for technology, but I still had to go do the legwork, get to know her. It's no different if I met her at the grocery store.
But also, too, then it's the other side of that. Catfishing. People faking online. You thinking you meet somebody.
Yeah.
Boy, I've never gotten catfish.
I wish
motherfucker
Someone has used my page and catfish people.
I wish somebody would.
Someone has used my likeness, but I've never been catfished.
I'm calling Neve.
Like I said, I totally agree with y'all.
Yeah.
I use it like for informational stuff, and it does like everything you just said. Mm-hmm. I get that. I respect that. And you right. At the same time, for me, it's certain things I'm still just not. It's a process for getting there.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and there actually isn't anything wrong with that. I think that there still has to be people that are keeping us grounded to reality. Like for every left, there is a right. So like, I do see what you're saying, but I think the point is to not be afraid of it and to not allow this new thing to now overtake your humanness, because at the end of the day, you're still human. You still have dominion over everything.
Plus, for say older people, I'm gonna say older people because just ran into this technology and all that. Everything's been moved. So now my aunt went to the doctor, all that kind of stuff. Now they have it where your results, you got a portal. Mm-hmm. So you send it to the portal.
I love it.
I get that. But with older people, my aunt had to drive all the way from Oak Cliff to my house so I could help her open
the portal.
Open her results.
Also,
see, that's what I'm saying. With a lot of it, it's too complicated.
She was going to drive anyway, right? Wouldn't you have to drive to get her results anyway?
But the truth of the matter is that demographic is a lot smaller than the demographic that's going to actually be, I'm being honest. You're talking about people over a certain age demographic that don't know technology. Yeah. Truthfully, not trying to be funny, they're phasing out. Yeah. The people that are going to use it behind them, it's going to be more prevalent. It's going to be people like us that grew up with it. And even we didn't grow up with the best versions of it. The versions of it that are out now, like my daughter, what she'll see, it'll be her whole entire life. So there won't be that thing that you're talking about. It has a short shelf life. It's coming to an end.
But here's the thing. We still in it right now. So how do you address
disregard
that?
People.
Exactly. You just disregarding that.
I'm not disregarding them. I'm just telling you the truth.
They only here for a short period of time, but they're still here.
Yeah.
But I'm not disregarding them. I'm just being very matter of fact. Mm-hmm. That has a shelf life. Beyond them, technology is going to be integrated into most people's lives for the duration of generations to come.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they are phasing. That age demographic is really phasing out.
I mean,
going forward, we're all dying, right? But going forward,
dying.
there won't be too many people left that don't know how to use technology because they would have had it for most of their life. Yeah. So I don't see that. I know what you're saying. I get it because I used to have to go drive to my grandparents' house to show her how to use an iPhone. So I bought her a flip phone so I can stop driving to her damn house for that shit. I got tired of it. I was like, I'm trying to FaceTime you, but you're facing the wall. Like turn the phone, turn shit around. It's like I get what you're saying, but no, technology is here to stay, bro. You have to. Unfortunately, we have to get on board with it. It's unfortunate, but it's very, very true, and it only gets worse from here.
Yeah,
and
which is why there's people like you who are important, right? Because we need people. Because if we let the Elons and the billionaires of the world, we will end up living in metaverse and like living in pods or something with like a what's the Neuralink chip, and like they really want us to go there.
Brittany say she wanted a Neuralink chip.
No, it was me.
Was it you that said you wanted it? I think she said she didn't want it, right?
Yeah, Brittany was like anti-Neuralink. I was just kidding, by the way. I would never put anything in my brain. Maybe.
If I could get some bionic legs, you know how fast I could run. I'm just saying, I'd do it. But
Maybe the context from Black Mirror, though, I maybe would do a wearable. That would be
what
cool.
was
Like
it?
the context from Black Mirror. I would maybe do a wearable. That's kind of cool.
That's cool. That's very, very cool.
Is it?
A wearable.
You put the contacts in your eyes, and then it like basically is like a computer.
That's kinda
in
fire.
your
Oh,
eyes.
okay,
That's
maybe
like
do that.
that's kind of like
That's kinda
007
fire.
type shit.
Yeah,
That's kind of
cool.
fire.
But I would never implant.
No. The other question I wanted to ask you, we talked about the affirmative action piece last week. Do you have any opinions surrounding the removal of it? Because Trevor loved it.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
were all against it.
No, I didn't say I loved it. I was just giving you other opinions.
I think
of where people could come from.
I think it's really unfair to say, oh, now we're at a place in history where we're done paying our reparation to this group of people, and you're not a part of the group of people that have experienced it. Like that's like me offending you, and then I'm saying, oh well, you should be over it now because like I said sorry, and so I'm done. So I think that they I do understand why people want to move to more equality, LOL, whatever that means, equality across the board. But at the same time, I don't think it's fair for someone to come in and say like, oh, well, we're done apologizing for what we did for hundreds of years, and now all of a sudden it's over because it doesn't matter anymore. And they're pushing to like erase all of the things that they have done
To give us a fair chance.
And it's just I don't know. I mean, it's sad, and I hate seeing what's happening with all these like DEI positions. Like people are losing their jobs.
Diversity and inclusion.
Yeah,
They're shutting those departments down.
I mean, school admission, I can sort of see it, but when we look at like the larger implications of what this is meaning, it's gonna get dangerous because people are trying to erase history, like legitimately pretend like it doesn't exist
It's
anymore.
going to become more subjective.
It's
like I remember
insane.
experiencing subjective grading, subjective hiring practices. It's going to change. Right now, you get these jobs because you have a fair chance. Some of those jobs aren't going to be available to a lot of us.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it. And that's the problem I have with it.
And history repeats itself. It always repeats itself. And so if we don't keep that in the forefront of our mind and everything that we do, it will come back. And we can't say, oh, there's no way. It will. It literally
There's
will.
some states that just in recent years finally outlawed slavery, like
South Carolina was the last
outlawed slavery practices that could take you into servitude. That was still a thing in some states.
It was in the law. I don't know if it was actually happening.
It wasn't happening,
it was
but
in the
it
law.
was still there. And if it's there, who's to say you can't exercise something that's actually legally allowed? So yeah, when you look at stuff like that, we're reaching some dangerous places. I don't like the affirmative action piece at all.
I don't like it. Like you don't like the program.
I don't like the fact that they're removing it. I hate it. I hate the fact they're doing that because, like I said, I've gotten jobs. I really felt like because I had to get hired. Not that it made me feel good about myself, but I remember getting my last job. You both know where I worked. My trainer, I asked, he's like, well, and this was weird, but he told me this, and I don't think I ever told you this. He was like, you'll never know if they hired you because you're black or because of your merit. But you're here now, right? I was like, what the fuck?
But also, that's part of them remove it. So that's no longer a question.
Yeah, and so that's why I do feel mixed about it.
The idea behind it.
Yeah, but what happens with that is I'm just not there.
They overcorrect in the other way.
Yeah, it's an overcorrect. At that point, then I'm just not there.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
What about the white people who get hired because they're white?
Yeah, literally.
Because they're not black or not of color?
Yeah.
Not off merit.
It's not off merit. And I remember I went through a program in school, and they made it a point to tell us almost every year that this was the most amount of black people we ever had in the program.
I've had that,
and
I've heard that.
and that doesn't feel good, white people.
Exactly.
Like, because now you're making it seem like I'm just there because I'm black and not because I'm here on my merit. And yeah, people are like, well, it doesn't matter, you're there. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, but if everyone else is allegedly here on their merit, but I'm here because I'm black, like that's not.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that because it's hard. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I want to be there because of my merit. But if the only way I can get, because I can get in and do my thing, I'm not really worried about that piece.
But see, then if
hold
that's-
on, let me finish.
Go ahead.
I don't want to be there based on affirmative action, then get treated like that.
Yeah.
I want affirmative action to do its job, allow me to get there, and then leave me the fuck alone, so I can actually
Exactly.
show my merit and get my.
And I think we
get
were
what I'm-
at
get
that
my-
point in culture, right? I
Yeah.
think we were at the point where like people were like, "Oh, that's an affirmative action, baby." Like I didn't feel that in my workplace at all. In school, I did, but not in my workplace.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, sorry,
yeah.
my bad.
No, I was gonna say with that, if they don't want to let you in, can't you get in somewhere else? Can't you apply somewhere else?
Or can
that
you?
will take you, or have somebody that creates an avenue for us. Somebody else can give us those shots.
I think that because there's so much systematic oppression, we need systematic processes in place to ensure that the opposite happens. Even though it feels like, why should there be a law that there needs to be diverse people? But at the end of the day, there's laws that keep people enslaved through the criminal justice system. There's laws that keep people out of different neighborhoods. There's laws that keep people in different tax brackets. So like, why wouldn't there be a law that
Makes it
counteracts
fair.
that?
Yeah.
You know? So I do see.
They're not rolling back prison practices, are they?
No.
No, but you're rolling back the things that make it fair for us to actually have a fair chance at
chance,
success.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what bothers me. You're not rolling back the things that affect us in a negative way, but you're rolling back the things that help us in a positive way. And then that
saying,
tells me a lot.
Oh well, then
It
people
does.
don't even see race anymore, so it's like it shouldn't be a thing, and it's like.
I hate those people. Like, yes, you do. And you saying that,
They
I know you do.
literally just stormed the Capitol like last year. What do you mean?
People see race. Well, we're gonna be at a stand. I guess we're gonna be at a stalemate, Trevor.
No, I was.
No, it's okay. You and your colored people shit. It's fine.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
all perspectives are loved.
no.
You know, that's all I'm here
We'll
for.
agree, I guess we'll agree to kind of disagree on that one.
I was just giving
not
the
that I don't mind-
perspective,
yeah, no,
other perspective.
I don't mind disagreeing. I just don't think that it's going to help us, and I think we're going to see the ramifications.
I didn't
of
say
it.
yeah or nay.
I think we're going to see the ramifications of that.
Yeah, me too.
sooner than probably later.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Keep your eye on the news, Trevor.
So you know,
I'm gonna tell you, I told you so. I knew this shit was coming. Do you guys want to do a quick ask the pod before we go?
yeah.
Sure.
Let's see. We should have. I think I have one. Hold on. Let me run and get it real quick. Ask the pod. Here we go. Okay. I'm still holding that question because it's just too weird. Here's one. Here's my question. How valuable has self-awareness been in your life, and do you think society in general has deviated from looking within to fix their personal issues? And the same question for the word accountability. They always hit us with this deep shit.
I swear we've had this one before.
We have it.
Self-awareness?
Something serious. Yeah,
Something
something
very
similar.
similar.
Asking, is self-awareness important? Sorry.
He said, how valuable has self-awareness been in your life, and do you think that society in general has deviated from looking within to fix their personal issues?
I mean, this whole episode, low-key, is about self-awareness.
Yeah, I'm going to go with yes. Super
Yeah,
important in my
yeah.
life. Has society deviated, though? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're way off the mark. Self-aware. I don't think people were self-aware.
No.
If they were, we wouldn't see a lot of the things we see. Like, for instance, we just saw a shooting on the highway on Monday where a guy flipped a guy off, and so he pulled a pistol and shot him. He died on the highway, right? If one of those people in that scenario was more self-aware, that doesn't happen. If I'm not so arrogant to run all over the highway and I'm being aware, hey, maybe I'm running late, but this is
I
not
don't
that
need to be
problem.
doing all that,
Yeah, or if I'm the guy driving with my family in the car and I'm not egotistical and I don't flip somebody off for a split second momentary reaction, if I'm being more self-aware, that probably doesn't happen either. Then we don't have this shooting. So I don't think society is being very self-aware at all, to answer your question. I don't personally
I almost
think so.
wonder if like we're becoming too aware of our own selves without being aware of the people around us. Because like sometimes we get in our little bubble, like I'm late, so it only matters if I'm going to get there on time, and we don't think about anyone else around me.
Yeah.
So like the self-awareness, I think, is becoming almost like from the negative side of that, where like we're not considering the people around us, and that is the problem. I think.
What say you? Ooh, the silence is killing me.
No, that was a good point. Not being aware of other people.
Is maybe the issue
Yeah.
more than anything
And not
else.
holding ourselves accountable either.
Yeah, holding yourself accountable. I
But
think we
I
should
will
do a better
say
job
with
at.
the,
No,
with
good.
that, people, yeah, it's that. Well, this is how I am, so you got to deal with it. You figure out your feelings, but I'm gonna be me.
But that's the accountability part. I think is like people aren't accountable for the way that they feel about things.
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. Why he sends these hard ass questions?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. Well, anyways. Well, Bree, it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And I wanted to thank you for all of your contribution to the show.
Thank you.
You definitely strengthened it. I looked at our percentages of women, and it is flip-flopped. We have more women listeners now.
Oh, what's up, y'all?
Sorry, ladies, she's leaving. Back to
Sorry.
dudes.
I'm still gonna be on Instagram, so come hang out.
We just appreciate you for everything you did. It's been fun. I've learned a lot from you.
Yeah.
You helped the show grow. You helped us change our format a little bit. Like we've gone weekly because of you. We've opened up the floor to do more shows in a day because of you. So yeah, like it's you've helped us quite a bit.
Well,
so
good.
don't leave here thinking that you didn't impact the show because you did.
Good.
So
Well,
we
thank you.
definitely appreciate it.
No, thank you for the opportunity.
Show.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you
Yeah,
guys.
we're gonna miss our female
come back.
perspective. We're gonna miss. I don't know where I'm gonna get it from because you ain't gonna give me no female perspective. So Becky will be back here to chime in for sure. But yeah, no, we just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
So
Wait, no, use mine. This is the one I like.
did they all go together?
No, they
Okay.
don't. You just shot the fairy.
Air horns behind No, well, again, always shout out to our brand partner Celestial Beerworks live show this fall, November 10th. Save the date. We'll be working that thing out between now and then. Should be a good time.
Yeah.
Go by there and see them. If you're in Dallas, tell them we sent you. You'll get a 15% discount from the Prophetic Podcast and
Period.
Celestial Beerworks. Hello, team. It's Celestial. We love you guys.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, y'all.
Anything for the people? Don't you say that tagline yet. It's not time.
I'm glad you got to keep reminding me
How
not
do
to.
I have to remind you?
Hey, I'm getting better.
Before you leave, can you tell them to read the Google Doc?
I'm reading it, but like, yeah, no, like I'm with you now, but yeah. I always like that little extra. Not right now.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, you ready? No, not yet.
Leave them with something. Find your purpose.
Yeah.
Sometimes get quiet. Get by yourself and woosah.
And don't be afraid to make the hard decision.
Yeah.
It sucks. Not always. It doesn't feel good immediately, but I think
You'll be glad you
You'll
did.
be glad you did.
Yeah,
and you don't
for
want to
sure.
spend the rest of your life wishing you did something that you should have already done. So thank you for the opportunity to be on the
Thank you
pod.
for
I
being
will
on the
always
show.
be a fan of the show, always
Yes.
promote the show. I will
That's
be at the
right.
live show.
Yes.
I'll do
Always
all the
prophetic.
things. I have the t-shirt, so I'm
prophetic.
always prophetic.
Yeah, let's go.
Actually, how do you get a tagline the last day?
Always prophetic.
Yeah, always. Yeah. Well, as always, we appreciate you for listening to the show. We thank you. Look at this dude.
So ready.
He's so
All right.
excited.
So ready.
We hope that you grow. We hope that you evolve. We hope that you learn. And we hope that you come back and kick it with us all over again.
We prophetic.
All right. Bye.